My story starts deep in the South in New Orleans. As a young kid, always played sports, always was competitive, but I didn't necessarily always have the frame to continue through years and years of it. So I realized that a big part of like me winning personally was going to come from my mentality. And as I grew, I started learning and educating and just kind of being exposed to so many different avenues. It eventually led me to wanting to be my own business owner.
Okay.
But I actually spent maybe my entire 20s working for corporate America and in corporate
Really?
Absolutely. And so that part of my life definitely helped kind of mold me into what I'm doing now.
For business, gave you that business mindset. So you go into corporate. What kind of was your roles in corporate America with business?
I decided to apply at this brokerage and I took a test and I wound up acing the test. They gave me a scholarship to get licensed as a realtor.
Dang.
And so just kind of fast forward in the realtor mindset, following up, being good with your customers, creating value,
Yeah.
that became an intrinsic, intangible years down the road. So it was like a tree planted and it took some years before it started bearing fruit.
My journey is the other way. I started doing the work, figuring out, I was trying to figure out how to build up to be a company, to get to those types of jobs. And then I was going to have to learn how to get in there, how to make that work, what that structure looked like. But you already had that. So all you really had to do is like, all right, I'm going to start here and then I can fill the rest of this up. I'm deciding on what I'm going to do once you started getting in the asphalt maintenance business.
That is partly true, Mark, but I will say this. When I was young, I had really shiny object syndrome. So
Oh, buddy.
like
Same.
I thought being a realtor, being a millionaire realtor was the way. And
Yeah.
I learned quickly after being a realtor, well, why I was one was that I was 22, 23, and they say work with your circle of influence. I'm coming from a similar situation as you. The
Yeah.
people that I know aren't necessarily in position to be buying houses and stuff like that.
True.
So I'm on the phones every day. I'm taking everyone's call, trying to get leads and clients.
Hmm.
And when I would get those clients, they would you seem like you know what you're saying, but you're only 22. I want to deal with
Yeah.
somebody that's 50. You know what I'm saying? And so that was like a big resistance. So in the midst of that, being that real estate was a commission-based job, I still did my thing, but
Yeah.
I wound up getting a side job, an overnight job, honestly, at a downtown beautiful condominium building in New Orleans. And so I worked there overnight from 11 to 7, and I would hit the real estate first.
Dang,
I
dude.
get the desk that same morning, and one of my partners at the real estate was like, "Hey, look, you can't burn the candle at both
Both
ends.
hands.
You're
Yeah.
gonna be hurting before you know it." And so I was like, "Well, I don't know what else to do." Winding up, the condominium association promoted me, but the promotion was for another property back in Baton Rouge. I'm like, "Well,
Okay.
I'm familiar with Baton Rouge."
Yeah.
Long story short, with that part, Marv, they had someone moving out, and I'm like, "Hey, where you going? How'd you like your stay?" They were getting a new assignment from DeWalt, the power tool company.
Okay.
And just casually, I'm like, oh, I used to use those tools. And they're like,
Yeah.
really? You know how to use tools? I'm like, yeah. I know how long the impact driver will last on the battery because we were using them every
Yep.
day. And he was like, here, you need to call this number. And so I did. And I was only maybe 3 months into that new role as the leasing consultant. And I was like getting offered a job in California to work with DeWalt. And
Shut up.
yeah, man. And I wound
That's
up,
the craziest happenstance.
man, I still think about that to this day because it put me in a fork in the road. I thought I
Yeah.
was supposed to be a realtor still. And it's like, wait, this opportunity in DeWalt is kind of a sales role, but it's not the same. And I'm like, well, I really haven't been to California, so I just spread my wings, my
Go
family,
check it out.
and I did it, man. Yes.
Man, that's crazy. So, how did that journey, nowhere in there have I heard anything about blacktop. So,
Right?
right. So that none of those trajectories send me down a parking lot, line striping, crack filling, patching, any of that stuff. So where in this journey in the next section does that come into play? Yeah.
So long story short, I wound up coming home and I became a truck driver for Frito-Lay. And
Okay.
so I'm trying to back into the dock at maybe 12 midnight. It's storming, raining, and I cannot line up the truck. I just cannot get it. And so after being soaked, going back and forth, inside and out, I'm like, who does the lines? And that's when the seed was
No
planning. I
way.
was like, I'm super serious,
That's
man.
better than the DeWalt story to me.
So I'm getting up every morning to be at Walmart at like 1 a.m. So every morning I would just YouTube like everything striping. I'm looking at like what's a striper? How do you use it? I had a good friend. I'm like, man, I need to figure out where I could buy one. He was like, man, I actually found one on a website. You can buy one from Sherwin-Williams. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So went ahead, bought one from
Buy
Sherwin-Williams.
Graco. Did you buy Graco or Titan?
It was a Titan
There we
850.
go. Oh, the 850.
Man, let me tell
Fine.
you.
Back up. Never mind. I take away that. There you go. When you said 850. Oh boy,
I'm gonna tell you
you
though.
learned the hard way. There's content out there where people are like, all you need is Titan 850. You can stripe parking lots.
Mm-mm.
The worst info that anybody to take. If you're listening, take one thing away from this. If you're gonna get into striping, do not use the Titan 850 for that. That's for marking my boy's soccer field.
Yeah.
With like the most waterborne paint stuff that's supposed to wash off next week. You know what I
Hey,
mean? Because when you try putting through what you put through there, oh buddy,
this,
nightmare.
this is where the kicker is. So me using a Titan 850, I felt like the coach that chose like a 1-star player and like turned him into a 5-star. Because
Yeah.
when I tell you I maxed that thing out, I made a decent amount of money with
Yep.
just an 850. I would fold that thing up, put it in the back of my Nissan. That thing bought me a truck,
Yes, sir.
bought me a van, just that one machine.
Whew.
But I would definitely say that what I did with the 850, I was strategic about the jobs that I would get. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? I wasn't trying to go to Walmart with this
Right.
shit. But I'll tell you this, if it was a large place, because that was my goal, I would negotiate with them where like, let me break it up into chunks. So I've done an apartment complex, grade A,
Mm-hmm.
with that had about maybe like 10 lots, but I would do like one
Cut
every
them
so
up.
many days.
Then
You know
this will
what I'm
help you out with logistics if you let me do this little bit here and here and here and here.
saying?
Then we ain't got people displaced, and they're like, "That's a beautiful idea. Let's do that." And meanwhile,
Yeah,
you're popping that 850 out, running buckets through it.
man.
There's a
The
weed eater
last,
motor on that thing. It'll
the
wind
last
up.
thing,
Wee. Does a
when I tell you the last time that I used it, I would say professionally, man, I could just hear the engine dying, and I was like, you know what? I just felt like I was at like a military camp. I just saluted it. I was like, man, you got me so
I
far.
push it off into the river. Like let it go down.
Look,